was the starting screen? Was it good? It's a new song that was made for me. I hope everybody liked it. I still need to post credit. I think I'll do that after stream. I'll post the creator of it. But if you're interested, it is linked on my Discord for Art for Now. We wave. Hello, welcome in. We're gonna be playing some unpacking today. But was the song good? Was it too loud? This is gonna be epic? Hell yeah. Hey. This book belongs to who? Who does this book belong to? Nev? Goober? How about Goober Nev? Sound good? Can I do space? Yeah. A gremlin? Nah, Goober Nev sounds good. Let me know if any of the audio is too loud, too quiet, if I need to raise or increase anything. I will. So I have played this before, but it's been like so long that I don't remember. Ball. Ball. Oh yeah, I can zoom. Yeah, I did. Of course. Oh yeah, you reminded me. I don't have tits open. Shit. Hold on. Let me leave. Let me open up. Don't no one redeem it so I can do the shit. I completely forgot to open it. That's the only thing I forgot today. I'm redeeming right now. No, don't redeem! I literally said don't redeem it. No tits. No titteroonie. There we go. It should be launching up now. Come on. Yeah, it is. Let's imitate. Yeah, it looks like it works. And just like that. It's successfully connected.
Hello there.
Hello there. Where's my alert sounds? My alert sounds are very quiet. Of course you threw something. Alert. Like I could barely... Oh, sound alerts. There it is. Desktop... Sound alerts. I'll increase that. There we go. It does work. Okay, good. Hi. Welcome. Now everything should be working. Up and ready. I should not have forgotten anything. Yes, I see you guys throwing shit. Like a Sailor Moon backpack? Backpack goes in corner. No sound? You didn't hear it? The tit throw? The sound is on. I can imitate it real quick. Hold on. It's just very quiet. See? You can hear it, it's just very quiet. I'll look into turning it up for next stream. The unpacking. Yes, hello. Welcome in. We got a trophy. Goes on the top shelf. We got arts. Put that here. Ruler goes with art. Diary. Crayons. Can I put sketchbook? Yeah. Painting? Horse painting. I like that horse painting. Find the toaster and put it in the bath. Maybe I will. What's a tuya? Piggy bank? Book? You think the piggy... Oh, it has money in it! It's moving! I can put it in the windowsill! I can't close the blinds. That painting is sick. Look at it. I wish I could zoom in. But no can. I know some items do stuff when you click on them. What is this? Is watercolor or a game? This is a game. It's a Simon Says? Okay, so it is a game. Got a Rubik's Cube. Trash can. Chessboard or something else. Another board game. That can go on forever. Mm-hmm. Wondering if you could play it. I think we'll just unbox everything and then start placing stuff. I like to see what I have to work with. It's a My Little Pony. Got superhero figurines. What are you? I can't turn you around. Oh no, I can't turn you around. Got some tatas though. See some tatas? Yeah, he's throwing it back, look-y. We got another pony. This one's emo. I can put next to the other one. Oh, I hate these. I hate these with a burning passion. I always thought they're ugly. No offense to people who actually like them, but I think they're really ugly. Is that Tamagotchi? Putting that here. It's important. It's a cool duck. You make noise? No. It's cute. I like it. Okay, thank you for liking. That's the person that made the theme song, by the way. The opening and closing song. Bro, their art is so good. Look at that little piglet. Got music. Oh, it's for the songs, yeah. Book. Also, don't think I haven't noticed. That is Bear. This is Bear right here. You can't tell me otherwise. She on my pack till I wee? What does that even mean? I am leaving my stuff on the floor because I am taking everything out and then organizing it. I swear there's a method to my madness. It goes with the art supplies. I'm just gonna... Ooh. Ooh! Hold on. No. This needs to go up here. I need to wake up to this every single day. This is gonna be the first thing I see. It's gonna motivate me in the morning. You know, you wake up, you look at this, you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bear made a book? Yes, he's right here. He's throwing it back. Got another book. And another one. And a Game Boy. And a plushie. I'm running out of space for the plushies. You like the little dragon? I'm not gonna lie to you, he's kinda ugly. I don't like the face of his eyes and nose thing. And it looks weird. the photography, flashlight, book, a mini British bus, jump rope, like that goes. Okay, that's everything. Oh yeah, I remember that some things have to be in certain places. They can't just be left out in the open. That's why they're like red. Trash can goes here, so you can, you know, throw paper and stuff in it. I'll put you in here for games. Let's do after thickness. I like having books organized. Those figures are so cute. Oh, there's a bunch. I hate these personally. I don't like them in real life. But there's some My Little Pony stuff. And superhero stuff. Go. Organization. Yo, I love this game. Yeah, welcome. We're playing this game. Where? Can I put this here? Put the records next to it? No. Can I put it in here? No. Okay. I feel like photography is not gonna be used all the time. As well as flashlight. Simon Says is a board game. I'll put that down. People like displaying their Rubik's Cube, right? I feel like it's a decorative piece. Jump rope, also not used as much. I guess we can put this here. Lighting up red no matter where I put it. This looks like to be a photo album. Let me just put it here. There we go, music and stuff. Can I put this in here? Nope. Does not go in there. I need to put these away as well. I don't think the dragon will fit anywhere. No. I can put him underneath the desk. Yeah, I feel like most people just display their Rubik's Cube stuff. They don't have it hidden. Because it's like a nice thing to look at. Alright, now to put these. Where does this belong? It doesn't belong here, it doesn't belong in there. Does it go in the shelf? No. Does it go in the trash? Am I missing something? A person like the truck. Away my— oh, chuck away your diary? Oh, wait. Okay. I forgot that there's secrets in the game. Can I put other stuff down there? You know, you gotta stay protected, you know? Keep a pair of scissors under there. You never know what'll happen. There you go. Little sketchbook. I feel like everything has a good place. It's like a gun. Bedside table. Yes. We hide the book. I am pleased. I click to start? Yes. No, I definitely forgot. It's been like over a year. Finally, my own room. Like, this is my room, guys. Personally, I wouldn't have picked all these toys. I'm not mad about it though. I'm just saying I have higher standards. Is this our dorm? Did we move out? I get a TV? You guys like your TV facing the wall? Monitor, I think. Oh, it's an early 2000s monitor. What is this? Some kind of poster? A book? A book. Colors! I love that this person is an artist, because I'm an artist too. Yes. The wall. The wall so the stalker in it can feel like he's not alone. You mean the painting? There's a stalker in the wall? Is it you, right? Do I need to be worried? These are games. Oh boy, these are games. I have a mini collection of games. I don't have, like, look how small this desk is. I can't have art supplies and my PC here. There's no room. Oh, my art improved! Look at this! Can I put it on this side? I'll put it right here so I can look at it when I'm gaming. And I got my teddy bear with me. Toothbrush? Okay. Oh! Oh! Oh, I literally moved out. I have my own apartment. Oh shit. Okay. So these are for the bathroom. You definitely go all the way to the top. Can I change your pose? Oh, I can! Sitting. Dabbing. You know which one we have to go with. It's not even a question. Close. I forgot how cool this game is. Can I open the pillow again? I can. That's what I'm saying. And our music collection grew. Got another pair. Another one. Got a cool little tote bag. I'm gonna just put stuff I don't know where it goes. A t-shirt can be folded. We don't need to hang it. And my piggy bank! You're going in the windowsill. Another t-shirt. My love for figurines hasn't stopped. I still love soccer. I feel like I would want that underneath my desk to play around with my feet. Another t-shirt. Jacket. Is this a little radio? Oh, it's an alarm clock. Put them right here. I only have 2 plushies. I don't know why you make it sound like I have a bunch. I only have 2. Oh, the bus made it! I like that we still kept a lot of the stuff. Do pajamas get hanged? I personally don't hang my pajamas. What is this? Is it panties? I know these are panties. Is there these socks? Is it panties and socks? I'm gonna need to reorganize. Top. Perhaps. Actually, that t-shirt is really fancy. I don't feel like it gets folded. It would need to be hanged. It looks like the kind of t-shirt that would get like wrinkled. Wearing bras, okay. Another poster. Hey, thank you for lurking. Another game. Eraser. Binder book. More socks. Panties. Panties. Toaster. Sock. Annie. Rubik's Cube. Saki. Rooney. T-shirt Rooney. Art Rooney. You know where this goes, Rooney. How does like this? Yeah. Do I have 2 pairs of everything? 2 pairs of socks, 2 pairs of underwear? Okay, that's... We know where this goes. Yeah. That's such a like a classic thing. Alright. I don't... Where should I put my art stuff? I don't have enough space. I'm gonna put my PC stuff. It's a little cramped. Oh, I can put that here. T-shirts. Hands. Okay. Put pants over here. T-shirts. Pajamas. And that t-shirt. Hello, art family. Welcome in. We are putting our panties away. Yes, you heard that right. Our. Do panties and socks go together? I feel kind of limited on space here. I should put these in. They're gonna be mishmashed though. I'm also missing a boot. I'm gonna like, okay, thank you for stopping by. think there's room up there. I can fit it here. Kind of want it right there. Oh, I can put it on the chair. I mean, if they're a student, they're gonna be going back and forth a lot, so they're gonna need the chair. Maybe up here? Actually, I can put the bag down here. I can't put it in there? I don't think that's right. I think we need to open up the other boxes. I want to hide that hole in the wall. Yeah, that looks about right. Can I open and close the blinds? Ooh, I can change the time though. That's it? I can change the time no more? I think I'm gonna open up everything before I start putting things where they need to go. Trash. You know, they're really lucky they get a bathtub. I feel like it's a really rare thing to have nowadays. Especially in apartments where I live. Tampons. Fresh toilet paper. Oh, I can hang it there. Okay, never mind. In year of college. Yeah, no, I feel that. Also, hello! Welcome in. I think this belongs in the kitchen. Yeah, let alone like having a bathtub. I feel like that's fancy. I guess perfume does belong here. Let me get the toilet stuff from here. I can put it in the cup. Hell yeah. What about the toothpaste? Yes. Another roll of toilet paper. Okay, good, I can stack. Someone said to put it in the toilet. I hope you're happy. Yeah, I think it's a little apartment. Yeah, no, I thought it was a dorm room too because of all the books that we have. Because they all look like different subject books, these ones. You know? Actually, I put you here. feel like cups go at the very top. Sugar? Cookie jar? Who uses cookie jars anymore? I'm genuinely curious. I don't think I have ever seen someone use a cookie jar in real life. Nice. I can put them in the sink. You want to use one? A cookie jar? No. These look like small spoons. Right? They don't look like full-length spoons. Okay, I'm gonna just put you down here for now. My keyboard! Hell yeah. I think it's funny that you'll find it not as organized. You'll have random stuff in random boxes. Which is very realistic when you do actually move. A shoe. But like you wouldn't pack different shoes in different boxes, right? They use a cookie jar? They are younger than us too. Huh. You know, I have never seen someone in real life use a cookie jar. Okay, move it in? No. Spoons. Hey, knife. Goes right here. I don't think anything else goes in here. Yeah, the cutting board doesn't go in there. I also don't like how I place these. And I do want the plates to be next to the plates. Yeah, you're gonna go on the bottom. I personally like to have my oil near where I'm cooking. Not bad. Doesn't go there. What is this? What are you? Are you for ants? Put it in there for realism. They take up so much space. put you in there? Can you open the thing? No, I can't open it. I'm not too pleased about this layout, I'm not gonna lie to you. But it is what it is. It's gonna have to do for now. The bag and these shoes. Maybe you go in here? Yeah. I really want to fit something down there. Your ball goes down. I think that's everything. Oh, the toaster. I forgot about the toaster. There we go. Wait, I just realized. I can put stuff up here. I'm putting this giant ass pot up here because realistically, when you live by yourself, you're not gonna use a giant ass pot like that. It's a really rare occasion. I have to cook for myself? Uh-oh. 2007? Yo, I do cosplay? Hell yeah. There's already so much stuff. Thank you for looking. Is this another apartment? Oh, this definitely goes here. Another figurine. Is this an apartment? It looks like it's either an apartment or a house. I can't tell. I'll just put you here for now. Is there a bedroom? This place is nice. Very big though. This is definitely a house. I'm gonna just focus on unpacking everything. Kitchen? Kitchen. Game, right? It's a game. No, my gaming collection. I want all the games. What is this down here? What are you? It looks like more games. I can't do it side. I'm still work, so I lurk, lovers. You missed. There's a book That is a bear book. I think you would have liked it if you saw it. Is this fabric? No, it's a book. Where can I put you? You're so big. Okay, I'll put you down here. That works. The spirit. Okay, let me move on to the kitchen. Caps. And towel. Up. Towel. A grater. Cookie jar. Sugar. Oil. I want it close. Put it here for now. Knife. What is this? Oh! It's a magnet! I always had a knife. I don't know what you're talking about. Later. Cup. A cup. Bolla. Later. Bolla. Later. Small plate. Water bottle? And big ass towel. Probably for the okay, I can place stuff up here. That's probably for the bathroom. I feel like the med kit should be in the bathroom, not in the kitchen. I don't know, I don't feel like people's first thought is to run into the kitchen for a band-aid, you know? Or is that just me? You feel the same? Okay, good. I'm glad we're both thinking the same. We thunk the same. I'm gonna put you down here, actually. Okay. Where did I put you? And place stuff up here. Will you go with you? Hello, Serpent! Oh, thank you for the sub! You didn't have to. I appreciate it very much. I wonder why my alert didn't go off. Usually it notifies me. I'll need to look into that. Is there a hook or something I can put you on? Where do you go? I'll just put it here. Bathroom time. Yeah, thank you. I'm a little disappointed my alert didn't go off. Notify me. We still use the same shampoo? Can I fit everything in here? I can. There you go. I kind of wanted to put the razor next to the razor. Tampons. Oh, I can put the clippers in here. Can I put these in here as well? No. Oh, there. Perfect. Ooh, I can open this too. Hold on. This changes things. Hey, now we can go. We got a nice one room. Got some books. Some art. The furry art? Yeah, that caught your attention? The furry art caught your attention? I got a popper monitor now? Hell yeah. Another sketchbook. An alarm clock. Postcard. Postcard. Probably be in here. And more art books. Art studies. Ooh, we're into D&D as well. I like that. Drawing tablet? Hell yeah. Wait. That's the same mousepad as before, but it's like worn down now. And the same mouse too. And keyboard. We just got a better monitor. We still have the same PC as well. There we go. Got a hat. Of course I can open up the pillow. Sock. Sock. Another sock. This is a book. Gonna run out of space. Pants. Fancy pants. Dress. Pajamas. T-shirt. 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 Hoodie. Poster. There we go. I feel like fancy pants and normal pants should be separate, right? You wouldn't put your jeans with a fancy pair of pants. Oh, we got a degree now? Oh yeah. Can I put it inside the closet? No. This t-shirt? I still don't know what this is. I think it's a thing you put in paper. Frisbee. Are those climbing shoes? They look like climbing shoes. I don't know what that is. Anyone knows what this thing is? You like seeing the growth? I genuinely have no idea what this is though. Another jacket. Yoga mat? For climbing chalk. Oh, okay. We do a bit of climbing then. I don't think it's computer stuff, right? This goes in the bathroom. There's already a trash can in the bathroom though. We'll put all the exercise stuff together. It's a really like random amount of like pajamas that don't match. And then all of you have to be hung up. Actually, I can hang up the two dresses. The skirts, not just... There's hangers for it. Okay, so we got a bit of space. Put pajamas up there. They have a drawing pad. They do have a drawing pad. They an artiste like me, for real, for real. We do all the underwear on the top. I think that's all the underwear. I could be mistaken, it's like the other way around. This just looks like more of like a socks to me than underwear. We're definitely missing stuff. The preparation for next time I move. Yeah. I don't think I'll be moving anytime soon though, to be honest with you. There's so little space. Where? Forgot about these PJs. I don't think I have space for the binders. Guess I can go there. Where do I put... I'm running out of space. You look for now? Alright. Yeah, I can put stuff underneath the bed. It's a very tight space. Yeah, she's a D&D nerd. I think this is the best I'll do. There's really not much space and I can't put this up. And put some of the art supplies up though. There, that feels better. Less cramped. And then we got like a little eating area. What? Hello, Scooter. Oh, we got all the D&D books. And figurines. How's this stream going? It's going. It's doing. Chicken. No chicken. Gotta make sure he's stabbing. Little bus. Me type slow busy doing the related activities. Take your time, there's no rush. Books. I don't think I can. Oh, they can be down here. I mean, I could put it at top, but I don't think it would, like... You're not gonna reach up there for much. The games do not belong here. Sad. Where did I put the games then? Maybe if I lay them down, I can stack more. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so that's how I had to do it. That makes way more sense, and you can fit a lot more. Okay. What is wrong in here? Was there anything wrong in here? No. You're not supposed to be in there, and you are not supposed to be in there. Okay. There we go, we did that. Oh yeah. I'm not too proud of this one. But we did it. I remember there being like a backstory to the whole game. Like, so we saw in the first one, she's a child. And then she moves to a small apartment, and now she's clearly living with someone. Because this is fancy. But I don't know if she is living with someone, because look at the bed. It's a one bed, so maybe she isn't living with someone. Maybe she's just more independent. It was a big day, I'm ready for bed. Yeah, it does look single, I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh, this looks completely different. Running from the police. Are we moving into someone's house? Pennies. Game. Maybe a living room in a dorm? Well, we can check out the rest of the rooms. Oh no, we definitely moved in with someone. Looks like a dude by the looks of it. Oh hell yeah. Yeah, it's a dude. Them slippers? This is the most screaming I am a bachelor apartment I have ever seen. Bitty city apartment, yes. Very big city apartment. Oh, I have a beetle! Maybe not on top of the, that. I don't think the beetle would appreciate. Okay. Okay, I can have it here. This goes in the bedroom. So many books. Okay, I'm gonna start needing to organize. Can I place them upright? Okay, there you go. There. I love that we have so many games. It's a little cheeky. The tower of games is infinite. Yeah, they may like beats, but I don't think they would appreciate beats. He has a little butt. Where can I put these? I don't want to separate them. All my sketchbooks. More game. I can't put on the tower anymore. The tower maxed out. Okay, let's move the tower. This clearly goes into the bedroom as well. Can I put anything down here? Put that there. I mean, it is right next to the other stuff. Can I fit anything? No? Oh, he's a not PlayStation, Xbox player. I can't place my games? I can play some. I'm not gonna lie, this feels very awkward. I feel like there's not enough space. Oh, I can move this. Okay, good. And put down some books. Why would I just put a single? Can I move you guys? Okay, I thought I couldn't move the other stuff, but I can. This changes everything. Come on. Not like we know. Can I move other stuff? No. Oh, I didn't even notice this box down here. More books. There's barely any space. And more games. I can't fit much more in here. Getting cramped. Okay. Oh, I can fit stuff down here. You know, we'll be rating this one, right? Can we? Oh, okay, I can fit it in here. Good, good, good. And I can put the game there. I still have a randomly placed ukulele. Can I hang my little ukulele on the wall right here next to it? This looks fine, right? One very cluttered shelves. It's the only guitar allowed on the wall. No ukuleles allowed. We'll leave that. Fancy shirt. I'll put these in right away. Ooh, I got some fancy bras now. PJ, sock, undie, undie. For date night? Do like this for late night gaming? Where am I gonna put my art supplies in here? I only have a tiny ass little bedside table. Ooh, dress. My teddy bear. He's so old now. I can't tell. Are these pajamas or a regular shirt? I think they're pajamas. They look soft. Are clothes less crinkly or is it just me? I don't know. I don't know. I can only put one skirt, fancy jeans, shoe. Yeah. They're less like, nerdy, if I had to put a word on it. Where do I put my diploma? Oh. There's literally no space for the diploma. Where do... Okay, I'm gonna have to find a place for that. Wait, this means I can put up my skirt. E. Yeah, we got heels too now. I think we just like grew up more, you know? More adult taste. Already gone. Can't put this in here. Okay. Why is his shit unorganized? You know what? Put your damn ties away. But his shit is super unorganized. Real footage of Nev breaking into house and reverse stealing from them. Hey. No, it ain't. We ain't got no proof. I'm not gonna lie to you, I would just rather have my own sock drawer and panty drawer. But we can't always have nice things, and I get that. Caught in 4K. Why can't I put pants? I want to put pants right there. Why can't I do pants? Why can't I do pants? The fuck? Is it because of you? Can I move you? I just cannot put my pants right there. I feel like I already am with this place. There's no space, like, for me. What if I just, you know, scooch his stuff over and put his thing right there? Okay, we got a shoe problem. There you go. Hinting you don't need pants. I need my pants. The real question is where, okay, I can put it underneath the bed. My bag. Okay, I'll put it here. I'll put it next to it. Push them in so I don't stub my toes though. Oh, I'm missing a t-shirt, hold on. What do I do with the diploma though? So why do I feel like his is bigger than mine? How does he get the bigger bedside table, Where do I actually put this? There's actually no room. Can I put it in a different room? Can't put it in a bathroom. I guess it goes underneath the bed. Dad, my hard-working diploma. He doesn't even have a thing. He has an electric toothbrush. My cup. Oh, that's a t-shirt. This belongs in the kitchen. There's no cabinets or anything. Put stuff in front. Mm. You know what? He's probably taller than us. I don't think he'd mind if we just, you know, took the bottom one. There we go. Hello, Clappy. Need you in my house doing this. I mean, if you pay me, sure, I'll come over. Spices, sugar, oil, more spice. Okay, we can put stuff on top of the fridge. Is that my laptop? And my drawing tablet. Can I write something? No. It's so blurry? What is blurry? The stream? Or something else? What is the blurry? Oh, the emote, yeah. Toaster. Oh god. You have a good out of context clip? Alright. Should I be worried about your clip? She'll come over? Alright, I'll watch it after stream. Is it bad? Is it that bad? Should I be concerned? Of course he's a smoothie guy. It's 2 seconds? Okay. Still need to find a place for you guys. It just doesn't want to be close to the sink, I guess. Need 500 coins. Can I move anything to make space? Wait, put it there. It still looks awkward. I have to move the ukulele and you. Where do I put the ukulele? Does it have to be on a shelf? It absolutely has to be on the shelf. That's annoying. But we will manage. Actually, why don't I just move stuff? I just realized I can just move these stuff. What else can I move? Did I put your stuff up here? No. There you go. Hello. How you doing, Bad Wolf? And that's for that apartment. It's done. A shower with a view. Two 2012? Is this our old bedroom? This is our old bedroom. Yeah, that's a-okay. Enjoy background Nell. Backroom. You've been hit by, you've been struck by Cat Boy. Hello, baby train. Poster. Yeah, welcome in. How you doing? I think I can play the entire game on stream for today. I remember correctly, the game is not that long. Laptop. Did we break up with the dude we were moving in with? Is that why I'm back in my own old bedroom? Moving in with the parents? More than likely. Our things did not fit together at all. I like this painting. Pretty. Bookerinis. Sketchbookerini. Sketchbookery. All the sketchbooks together. A drawing. A little. It looks like a Minecraft pig. Or is that just me? Gotta have our games. Oh, okay, so it's just 2 rooms since we're moving back in with our parents. It's just the bedroom and the shared... Yeah, the shared bathroom and the bed room. My old bedroom. I have a poster in here. My old poster! Yes! Where can I put it? I'm gonna put it here. Hell yeah. Hello Kitty Girl and Skater Boy. She was a small town girl. Yes. It really was like that. Did they multiply? I feel like, yeah, before we didn't have an extra yellow. They multiplied. Put them in the windowsill. I like that they have a little butt. I like the noises it makes. Let's take everything out of here. It looks like there's just random stuff. All my D&D books. These are also books. They're just small. You know what? I'll put my pin. I think our mom was in here. So we don't sew. But she sews. Can I put it down there? No. Sand. We don't need any more blackmail. Is it that bad? I haven't seen the clip. It's only 10 seconds. I feel like I should be worried. You know, the good thing about moving back is we have more space. Look at all this space. Oh me, I'm the nicest person around. I don't buy that for a second. I don't buy that for 2 seconds. I'm a grown adult, I don't need plushies. I also feel like I bought back fewer stuff. Like, I only had like a couple boxes. I had way more when I moved in with the guy. What happened to my stuff? I'm not mean. Also tends to happen. I'm not mean. I'm nice, guys, I swear. I'm just misunderstood. You wouldn't understand. I'm misunderstood. I can't even say it with a straight face. Oh my god. Stuff gets exchanged in breakups. That is true. This doesn't go up there, right? I feel like that goes up there. Well, I'm gonna take this drawer. Since my parents aren't using it. Never mind. Can I put you in here? Yes. What is this? Back pain? You gave me back pain? This looks fine. I mean, does that not look like back pain to you guys? Like, that's clearly a back. We hide our back pain. Can't put the teddy bears underneath the bed. Why does this not go here? Is this the guy we broke up with? Okay, so it goes in there. The back pain where muscles tense up. It broke my back and my heart. That's funny. I have space up here. There you go. My poor back could not handle it. This room used to feel bigger. It's because I grew up. And the room stayed the same size. this my own apartment or house? Ooh, double bed. And office? This feels like a house or like a huge apartment. Thank you for looking. I'll start with the bathroom. Towel. Why would I put the towel in the shower? I feel like that's a little bit of like dirt or mold, but I'm not gonna question it. The back pain! Not the back pain! It followed us! I thought we'd be over the back pain by now, but no. We still have back pain. And apparently we're taking vitamin D as well. Back pain and vitamin D. I don't know. It never leaves. He destroyed my back. My pussy and my crack. Put you here. Shameful back pain. Toothpaste. Air freshener. Deodorant, perfume, and like lip balm should be out. Still have a bunch of stuff that I don't have space for currently. Oh, okay. I didn't see the little nudge. I think this goes here. Is there a kitchen? There's a kitchen. This goes in the kitchen. This also goes in kitchen? No, I don't have any hand wash stuff. This stays here. Where do I put the air freshener? Not just that, I don't have room for this. Maybe I take the back pain out. Yeah, this feels okay. Need a vitamin D, she has to stop getting it. God damn it, Ira. What room should we do next? I think I want to start with the least boxes, which looks like to be the bedroom. Sketchbook, pajama, water bottle. Ooh, we got like a fun thing. Because we're so fun, guys. Aren't we fun? It's great. We'll put that here. Try again. Another thing. Shoe. Fancy shirt. Another shoe. I hate these kind of alarm clocks. Gotta bring the family with us. Ooh, a little light. Wait. I approve of this. Another light. Another light. Fancy shirt. Shoe. 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 Regular t-shirt. Hanger. Shoe. Bag. Regular t-shirt. Sock. Sock. Jeans. Sock. Pajama pants. Pajama top. Undies. Imagine if I did that for the entire— oh, rainbow socks! Okay! Hold up. Are we gay? Do you think we're gay? Only hanger. Get to hang all my clothes. Are they gamer now? I guess. I'm not gonna lie to you, I despise these kind of drawers. I don't know, even just looking at them gives me the ick. Is that just me? Of course, the gay socks. No. Then we want to do the Why is this so much bigger than the rest? I'm not gonna waste. Actually, I already wasted with this one. I should have put them down there. They barely take any height advantage. Gotta be efficient. Let's do a bra first. This is what a pro gamer looks like, by the way. This right here. Pro gamer gameplay. You're not gonna see it, find it anywhere else. I don't know what this is. I can go in there. Oh, hello! Thank you for the follow! forgot about these socks. Why did no one tell me? I am blind. Here we go. Hello, welcome in. No, there's a pro gamer, but I don't see them, so I assume you. I am the pro gamer, I don't know what you're talking about. Got a little cactus. And my diploma with that high and proud. Can we put that down here? Okay. New markers. All the markers. Headphones. Sketchbook. Sketchbook. Regular book. A easel. A easel. You know that not everybody knew what they are called, these? Well, easels. I feel like this belongs to the toilet. Here we go. A easel, yes. Book. Book. Book tour. A draw tour. A whale tour. Another whale tour. My lab tour. And my drawing tour. And a regular book tour. I can keep going. Should I stop? I'm sorry in advance. Well, delayed sorry actually, not even advanced. Oh, my Minecraft pig! Look at him! I am summoning Krona. It'd be really funny if I did summon him. The pigs have to stick together. Ooh, lava lamp. Printer. Is that a scanner? Where you scan papers, and then like whatever you scan gets uploaded to the internet. Wi-Fi. Ooh, big painting. I'm running out of room. Ooh, that's my favorite one. Right there. That is my absolute favorite one I have seen so far. Time to move stuff around because that's gonna be my new center of attention. Diploma, you are less important right now. You, on the other hand, you go right there. Hello, thank you for the follow. Ooh, big painting. Okay, I definitely have to move some stuff now. Well, this is... my diploma can go with the practical stuff. There you go. Hi, welcome in. Is it okay to put your internet into like a iron cupboard thing? Or will it fuck with the internet? I'm gonna just leave it out here then. Especially if it's metal. Right? I'll keep that in mind. What are these? I always seen people put these on the ground and then they roll their feet on them and it's supposed to like massage. Like it's supposed to be good with the foot. That looks good, right? Ooh, big boxes. Kitchen time. Let's see, is this a coaster? A little wooden coaster. Another wooden coaster. Measuring spoons. Soy sauce. Baking sheets. Roll pen. See, this is really testing how much I know my English because I don't typically use these words for everyday item. Like, I don't use words like these usually when I speak English. You have to keep in mind, I speak 3 languages. This is a cookie cutter. Heart-shaped cookie cutter. Oil. Cooking oil. I'm assuming a different kind of oil. I don't know. Cup. And coaster. I wonder if I'll stumble upon a pot. And I wonder if I'll stumble upon a word that I don't know how to say in English. Hello, Red. Another red. I know 2 reds now. Cutting board. Magnet. I'm not gonna lie though, this fridge looks kinda... It ain't looking that good. Three? Plus. Alright, time to put everything on the floor. I can't organize stuff if I don't know what I have. 3 is equal 1. Plus. Ooh. Ow! How'd you do that? You want me to hydrate? Just ask. You can just ask nicely. That works too, you know. There you go, I hydrated. Oh my god, okay. You want me to double hydrate? Fine, I'll double hydrate. Double the hydration. Hydration, no breathing. I'm just putting stuff wherever they go right now, and then I'll make sure everything is where it needs to go. And the rest of chat. I don't even get a hello. I'm the one streaming and I don't even get a personalized hello. I just get a stinky. I have a microwave now. I wouldn't need you that often. Microwavey. Oh, we have another box. I know how to say microwave. I just think it's fun to say microwavey. Wait, isn't this his coffee? The guy I was with? Did we steal his coffee? Be funny if we actually did. Toaster. The cookie jar can go here. This is how I usually do. This is usually how I do my utensils. Knife, spoon, and then fork. Knife. Tiny spoons. Can I open this? No. Dad. Are we Jewish? Are these only Jewish stuff? This right here? I don't actually know, that's why I'm asking. No, you don't think so? You see them in multiple houses. Okay. I'm gonna have to start moving stuff out of the way of the cupboards. These go on the table though. This sugar and honey. No, close. I feel like these are under the sink kind of items. I still have stuff out here. Measuring stuff. I'll leave the coasters out. I think that's everything. Blah, blah, blah. 1 plus 2 equals 3. There's not enough room to put it all together. E. Now this goes to the toilet. Oh, there already is one in the toilet. Okay, and it goes here. We just have beanbag chairs. No, like, couch. I wouldn't want to live in a house where I only had beanbag chairs and no couch. Oh, we? This is the woman cave. I should probably start stacking these books. Oh, this is a game. Console. Book. Sketchbook is its own category. Yeah, I can put them right here. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's for... okay, it's for Bella. Why did I take the dragon with me? Oh, we got more chickens. A remote. You think? I don't think so. I don't think she likes chickens. Matter of fact, I think she hates chickens. Look at this game pile. And there's more. There's so much. Gotta have my D&D books. I'm running out of room. Actually. Ooh, a 3DS? Is this a game? I think those are 3DS games. Let's put that down here. Since it's a handheld, you know? I stack them and I can put them down. I think I want to stack this so I can actually see what games I'm pulling out. we go. Have my controllers in? Yes. Let's just put you down here right now. The ukulele maiden. An extra game. Art book. The Art of Ukulele book. Is it not to display this? Do these two not go together? Oh, okay. Damn, she's been a lot of other places since. Hey, she colored the D&D character. Chumpkin. That seems good. Yeah, I'm happy with this. The back pain. The shameful back pain. Where am I supposed to put it? Does it absolutely need to be right here? Oh, I didn't have toilet paper. Well, that definitely did make a lot of room. Okay, there we go. Why did no one tell me we didn't have any toilet paper? Book. There we go. Do you have to be on the bed? I can't just... Okay. You know what? You're gonna be right here. Can I put him underneath the pillow? No. Yeah, that's everything. I think this upcoming one is the last one, and then we're done with the game. Ooh, same apartment. Did someone move in with us? Because these boxes don't look like ours. And we have a proper couch now, where we don't just live on a beanbag chair. Oh look! We'll put him up with the others. I like that the whoever is moving in with us has a lot of plants. I don't know what any of these things are. Ooh. Easy, smeezy. Is that a book? There was a book, yeah. top. Pillow. Another pillow. Blanket. And they have games? Hell yeah. And pink umbrella? It's a girl? A girl's moving in with us? Where should we put this? It looks too cool to hide away. It's a book. Book. Board game. Ooh. Whoever this person is, I like their style. I don't want to hate on my main girl, but like, they have good shit. Are these coasters? Oh, those are so cute. I like those coasters. I called it, by the way. We're not gonna talk about Cthulhu in the corner. I don't think this fits down there. What do you mean, just like me? I don't know why you said that too, but knowing you can't be good. Games should be with other games. They should not be separated. Game. I missed a game for a book. Where can I move around? Is that another game? It is. There you go. I don't think I have room. No. Actually, I put all the games down there. What if I just put them there? They're close to the TV. They're out of the way. It's perfect. Because this does feel a little cluttered though. Yeah, that looks good. She's like the main character. I don't think I'm a main character. A lot of makeup stuff. This is a real girly girl. Yep, the eyeshadow. Expensive shampoo, even though we've been using the same shampoo for the entire time since our childhood. Where do I... oh. That's matte. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Do you think I can put that in there? We'll just get watered every time we shower. I think it's fine, right? The real question is, what do I do with all of her stuff? I don't have much room. Oh wait, I have a whole thing here. Can I squeeze that in somewhere? It's small. No. Oh, we have a bath mat too. Ooh, I like the sound it makes. It's super crammed. Where? Wait. I'm dumb. No wonder it's cramped. Listen, you didn't see nothing. That made you get the tingles? The little bath mat? I like it. I completely forgot about these lights. I should probably put them in here. Because it doesn't make sense to just have them. Yoga pants. Oh, she has her own little bear! Little teddy bear. It's a... not a bear, it's a ba-ba-ba. It's a tigeroonie. I can tell the difference, I swear. He's stimming. I started shaking. Right? If you're ever angry, I'll just show you, like, send you a sound clip of that. Do you think? Oh my goodness. Who is this woman? I love her already. Look at this. I want it. I will purposely pretend to be deaf. Nightgown? Can we hang you up? Yeah, we can. T-shirt. Look at all these plants. Wait. Yeah. You can have one on either side. Never has a girl crush? No. I like the bears. I like the teddy stuff. No. Why would you get the exact same one that she has? I hate these drawers so much. Yoga pants. How many fucking yoga pants do you need? She's a real girly girl. She has so much girly stuff. Is that radio? I mean, walkie-talkie? That's a walkie-talkie. I have to put this in her thing. There's no space. We'll just turn over to the other side and talk to the walkie-talkie. To each other like that. What are these? Are these, oh, yeah, the blah blah blah. Essences? Is that what they're called? You put them in here and then light them and like smoke comes out and it smells good. And it's supposed to like be relaxing. I like the pink shoes. I want it to be turned. There's something here that's stopping me from turning. Is it this dress? There we go. Much better. Can... Where are we gonna fit the shoes? Do they all fit? Let's pray. Okay, they all fit. Good, 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 good. What about the boots? Gotta cram them in a little bit, but it's okay. One t-shirt. I just put it with mine. You would have shoved them in there? I did shove them in there. See? They're just kind of there on the edge. Little notepad and pen. I think that's everything in this room, at least. Can we put this in the middle? Yeah, that looks good. we go. Nothing in the office? Nothing did change in the office. We got a bigger monitor. We only had a laptop last time. Yeah, we got a couple new stuff in here. Kitchen. More cups. Again with the really... Oh, I thought it was coasters. No, it's magnets. I was gonna say they're really cute. It's magnet. What is this? Is it like a sauce bowl? Like a gravy bowl? Gravy thingy? Seems so. Okay. Well, this obviously needs to go right here. I was gonna assume that they were Asian, but they brought like Asian stuff with them. So I don't think I'm racist for assuming they're Asian now. Oh, the sauce. Naruto sad song. So loud. Ice cream thing. Yeah, no, I just can't fit. Won't go there. What is... Wait, I missed something. Oh, the games. The games don't go down here. Do they go down here? They do. Okay. Alright. Time to go to plan B. We put them here. There you go. I don't think there's anything red here. The plant? Okay. Is that the end? Or do we have one more? Ooh, we have one more. Ooh, big one. Yeah, I think we bought a house. Start with the bathroom since it's so small. There's a kid? Oh, I didn't even notice. Yeah, there is a kid room. I just went by it super fast, didn't even notice. They held hands. They sure did. Post-it notes. Eraser. Little card thingies. I don't know if that even has a name. Bookeries. Drawings. This goes in the sketchbook section. Art. More art. Oh, the pig is brown now. Is that a hand brace? I think it's a hand brace. Yeah, Ray, they're just roommates. You wouldn't get it. The D&D dice and character. Always together. Is that a children's book? Wait. I'll put this here. Or is that her book? Wait. No, hold on. This looks like her art, right? No, it's not a board. It's a book. It even stacks. I think she made a book. She did! There's so many! Yeah, I knew it. She made her own book. Oh, her character's a bard. Reading's hard, guys. Leave me alone. I'm already using more than 2 brain cells. Can't come for me. I don't want to go beyond my limits. Why go beyond your limits if you can stay within your limits? Ooh. Reward. Diploma. Ooh, a popular drawing tablet? Oh yeah. The Wi-Fi. Wait, I just now realized what this is. It's for the ukulele! I couldn't figure out what it was last time. It's a ukulele stand. That makes way more sense. Hey, you didn't call me out on it either. gonna have PC stuff. Actually, hold on, no. We're gonna do reverse. To move them. And then all the art stuff can be over here. This is a huge thing. Voila. Maximum internet. Have it right next to your PC. Little kitchen area. All our D&D books in the dining room. Family photo. Glass. Are we gonna set the table? Little salt shaker, pepper shaker, bowl, scanner. This is a book. Oh, this is a baby book, right? No, it is a baby book. Do you think it goes in this room? Maybe in there, behind the boxes? Ooh, I can put them on top of the coaster. I love that they have so much books. This doesn't feel like it would go here. Maybe the Bedroom? Hmm. Put it in here. I know it's the roommate's poster, but I couldn't see where it would go. Hello, welcome in. We're just playing unpacking. Oh, there's stuff for the kitchen. Because I can't put it on the shelf at all. Where would I put the laptop? Probably in the living room. What do you mean you know me? What? What's wrong with my decorating skills, hmm? I know Jules. Yeah, I was wondering what you meant by that. Honey, sugar, up, bola, cookie cutter. You don't belong here. You don't belong here either. Rice cooker goober. Bigger bowl. Measuring cup. Lengthy. They really threw everything in that box. They really did. And I ran out of space for cups. Oh, they have a little moon cookie cutter too. This needs to go here. Because it's for cooking. Big spice. Do we not have any toilet paper? Guess I can just put it here. We fit 3? On a 3. Trash bags. Guessing that's a trash can. Oh, cactus magnet. No. Oh, this is for the body bedwa. E. Yeah, it's them kissing and stuff. Did you only just now notice? I feel like oven mitts should be like hanged. Yeah, hanging. Can I fit big plate? Cutting board, microwavey, bolla, bolla. Some bug spray. Guessing some cleaning stuff. Knife set. Knives go here. Small spoons go there. No, those were big spoons. Two small spoons. Water bottle. Water bottle. Oil. And forks. We're missing an L. There's an I, there's an O, there's a U, and there's an A. Think we can make anything with that? There's an E. But we don't have an L. Maybe the L was is in another box. There is a heart, yes, but we're missing an L. To get I, E, U, and O. Oh, you mean I heart you? We could do that. I just wanted to spell out the entire word. Hello, thank you for the follow. We have this trash can. Trash bags, not can. Yeah, it looks good. Got everything found a place for it. Our giant game collection continues. I expected nothing less. This is a book. I'll do small books up here. It's different kind of game. This is as why can't I? On table. There you go. Can I make the pile bigger? How big can I make the pile? Oh, it's for the kitchen. Can't put it up there. At the Wii, and the controller. I'll put it somewhere better. Got 2 controllers? Hell yeah. I'll wait till I get everything out. Game. Giant head. Another pillow. Watering can. Mister. I dropped it on the ground and I can't pick it up. What have you done there? I really like these coasters. No, that was the limit. It doesn't get any higher. I have to make a new pile. God damn, the gaming collection grew. I can put it in front of the TV. Though I don't think that's what they intended. You don't think that's where the games go? But they fit right here. Most of them do, at least. And then we can have the rest down here. I knew if I had a gaming console, I would want all my games to be down here. I feel like I'm still missing stuff. We don't have anything for this yet. Yes. I like that they have matching umbrellas. See, this is where that thing is. It's here. This is a towel. Or the toilet? The baby room? Bedroom? Closet? Oh, there we go. Okay, we have two. See. This one's so much bigger than the other ones. I think it's because it's the final one. There you go. We still have a lot to go through. And then there's the closet as well. Big house. Big successful we mean. My back pain! My back pain is still following me. Why is the back pain still following me? I will never escape the back pain. Maybe. The key. I'll never escape the back pain. I feel like medication stuff should be up here. Toilet paper. There you go. Oh hell yeah. Real loves this. What does your mother have? Oh, I'm sorry. Big hamster. That's what they're called, right? Hamsters? Is this not where all the towels go? Have I misunderstood? Oh, there's a basket. Can I put them in the basket? No. Oh, the same one? Hmm. Where do I put these? And these? I don't feel like they belong. Nope, cannot. I think I have to bring it with me to the closet area. T-shirt, shirt, skirt. Little jewelry box. Pants, leggings. T-shirt. Those sewing kits. Shorts. A little mirror thingy. I'm running out of room. Let's do this box so I can get some room back. I did try to put stuff in the basket. That didn't no work. Sadly. Pants, sports bra, hanger, new backpack. Pajamas. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna start having to put these away. Let's do ones for underwear, ones for socks. This is the underwear one. Won't open because of the box. Fine, I'll do the socks over here then.
Hello, motherfucker.
Oh, hello.
Ghosty the Ghost rated with 1 viewers.
Hello, welcome in, raiders. Thank you for the raid. What were you guys up to? Welcome, welcome. DBD? I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it was lots of fun. Shoot. I would love to have one of my mods give you a shout out, but I don't think any of them are here. They are, please give them a shout out. They earned it. I am. This is the smallest closet ever. They're jamming so much stuff into it. No mod. And I can go yell at Bo real quick. Oh, nice. I hope you had fun. Hope you guys had a wonderful stream. What's the point if I can't put clothes in here? Guess I'll put bras in here. Ooh. Well, as long as you had a fun stream, that's all that matters. Underwear. PJs. Go here. More underwear. Leggings. The gay socks. Sketchbook. Oh lord, the last box. These go under shorts. Leggings. Save. Leggings again. All the organizations. Put pants and shorts. Can I put pants and shorts and leggings together? We cannot. It's okay. Put the perfume back. Actually, no. Perfume has to be in the front. Unless I can put this in the ground. Then we can put the perfume in here. Oh, these are complete. Okay, never mind. I'm putting these in here. It's gonna go in the bedroom. Where's the office? Where's the office? What color organization? Yeah, we're not going by color. We're just going by what it is. I think that's everything. We'll probably find some other stuff in the other boxes. Why is this here? This is office supplies. Yes, me, I can. Thanks. You're fine. You can talk all you want. I really don't mind. Oh, she got a matching yoga mat. That's so cute. I still don't know what that is, to be honest with you. I think this is like a baby monitor thing. Or it's just a speaker. I feel like this belongs here somewhere. And not in the, Where does it belong? Hold on. They already have a lamp. Do they both get a lamp each? I won't have room for the plant. Oh wait, I have thingies up here. I didn't realize. And I'm putting you up here. And you over here. Big horse painting. I'll organize everything once I have it all out. It's squishy? Yeah, it's kicked up. Look. I don't know why they're all kicked up. But they kicked up. And the big mama. I don't think she can fit, you know. No, I'll just put her in the bed. Oh, he has glasses! That's a new one. They all just barely fit. Oh, TTS successfully connected to Twitch. Why did it not connect? What happened to make it not connect? Ira, stop it. Be nice to me. No clipping out of context. Oh, they like redid it. They made it cute again. That's really cute. All the toys. There's so many. Oh my god. What's this? Can I put it in the thing? No. Baby wipes. How many of these cubes are there? Wait, is that Stitch? No, it's a fish. Oh, baby clothes. Baby hat. Baby ball. big painting. Rabbit. Another hat. Little rainbow thing. Another hat. Oh, a lot of hats. There's so many of those cube thingies. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. It is very peaceful. I feel very relaxed. Shaker, ball, book, thingy. Oh, oh, I can put it in here. Okay. Now I need to make sure everything is where it needs to be. Ooh, I can click it. Huh. I'm guessing clothes and stuff will go in the drawers. Can I fit both the hats and the shirts? Yeah, I can. We can put the books there. Time to go to my grave. Alright, have a good night. I hope you rest up and have a wonderful rest of your day. Where does this go? Oh, it goes on the ground. Okay. Bye bye. He just didn't want me to put him too close. I'll make it an organized mess. There we go. Now I just need to go through. Hello, welcome in. Unpacking is really cute. I played it over a year ago, but I kind of forgotten how it's played and all that, so that's why I'm doing it again. Where do you want to go? Oh, okay. You definitely should. I started playing it from the very start and I am almost done. And let's see, we've been at it for 3.5 hours. Oh, I forgot about this. Where did I put you? Where do you go? You're fine with going here, but not in the middle of the toilet ground? Bathroom ground? Okay, I'll take it. guess they didn't mean to be out. There you go. I'll move the safe. It keeps telling me I placed the thing wrong and I couldn't figure it out, so I got stuck. You can always look it up, but usually when it stops glowing, that's when you realize you done it. Plus, I think there is a mode where you can just place anything wherever you want without any consequences. You don't have to place anything where it's supposed to be. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the game. Hell yeah. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. I hope it was peaceful. 3 hours and 40 minutes. I wanna skip. Let's skip, yeah. It is a very cozy game. Highly recommend it. You gonna fall asleep? Don't fall asleep now. I do think I'm gonna be ending stream. So let me say goodbye, and then I'll rate someone. Thank you all for watching. It was a very nice stream. I had a bunch of fun. Thank you for allowing me to play this again and share it with everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.